desire. Somehow I know that it's all gonna change. Everything's gonna change.
All right, all right. It's another Thursday. And we here this morning, and I promise you I can't make it up, but we're here and we ready to let the cat out the bag. Your mic is low. Listen, I cannot make this stuff up. And I know, listen to listeners, I know I say this week after week after week, and then the next week, but our show just keeps getting better and better
And better.
and better. Wait a minute, hold on. Better is better.
Amazing.
Okay.
Awesome.
For those of you all that don't know, better is just better than better. It's better.
Parquet.
Okay. Listen at this. And I don't want you guys to touch the dial. We have an amazing show today. We actually have from Bolingbrook, Illinois, a perfect place to live. We have Mayor Roger Clare in the building today. And we're going to interview Mayor Roger Clare. We're going to hear, some of the exciting things that's going on in the village of Bolingbrook. And we're going to actually learn a lot because in talking with Mayor Roger Clare and actually reading his bio, and I'm going to kind of give you guys a little bit about what this amazing gentleman has done throughout the community. I'm talking about throughout the world, really. This guy has really done some stuff in over a 30-year period of time. And the scripture that came to my mind is, to whom much is given, much is required. Yeah. So we're going to hear from Mayor Roger Clare. We also have Brother Gilbert, Sherrod Gilbert in the building again today. And we're going to hear a little bit from him. Maybe this week he'll sing a little something for us. We don't know. But yeah, he'll sing a little something, but we're also gonna, talk with him briefly and hear about the event that he has going on for, what is that? I want to say it's May 22nd. Yeah, we're going to talk about that event. But in the meantime, the topic of discussion today is going to be, to whom much is given, much is required.
Amen.
Yeah, to whom much is given, much is required. And for those of you all residents of Bolingbrook, if you have questions today, you could actually dial in at area code 708-743-6970. Again, 708-743-6970. We'll take live calls directly from that number. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and kick this show off like we always do. We got Miss Patricia Ward in the building.
Hey.
All right. James J. Hustle.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, Pat. Girl, you know what? I know you got some stuff going on. Tell us, how's your week and what's going on with your cat?
My week it's been a blessing. A blessing. God is he's a great God. And there's a shift in the midst, and I'm standing in that shift. And as you know, I have been awarded as facilitator for Educational Task Force. And right now, what we have going on, there's a contest that's going on to be heard. Be heard vote can change the world, but we also kind of changing it to the Be Heard Scholarship Award. And we're trying to get the information out to all the children that's in the Cook County area from 3rd grade on up to 8th grade, grammar school to high school level. The award are $100 up to $1,000 for each child that participate in, I think art is for the grammar school and essay are for the high school.
Okay.
And the award is going up from $100 on up to $1,000.
So let me just make sure that I'm being clear here. Now, this is the Be Heard contest.
Scholarship.
This is the scholarship, Be Heard scholarship. And they can either do an essay or they can do an art. They draw something just to be heard.
Right. The grammar school are going to draw the art.
Okay, so grammar school, so that's from grades 3 to 8.
Right.
They have to draw a picture about why it's important.
Art slogan. It's going to be
art slogan. Okay.
And what we want to know is we want to be able to see the vision that you have, what it means to you to vote in this world that we living in today,
Okay.
in society today, and also for the high school on up to ninth to 12th grade, they will be doing an essay on the voting, why we should vote.
Why is it important to vote?
Yes.
So with that being said, you guys definitely want to participate and contact Patricia Ward. If you're, if you haven't heard about this at your school, it may be because your school is not involved, and the only reason why they haven't heard is because you've not said anything. So don't wait for someone to contact your school. You be that connection and say something. You can reach Patricia Ward at.
You can reach me at 708-731-0049. Also, you can reach me on my Facebook page, Involving Souls, or Patricia Ward page. But I will be going up to District 989 today and talk to whoever the superintendent that's involved to try to get this into the school.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that, Miss Patricia Ward. You're always busy, always dedicated. Mr. James J. Hustle.
Yes,
now, I know you always got something going on. I want to say this, James. I seen a young lady that was doing the news media, Anita Perez. She goes out like every morning from her van and she does, what's going on. Right. Now, let me say this. Some of her, and I'm not no hater. I just have to tell the truth. She's excited when she has like 230 viewers. And then she did a clip and she was like, wow, I had 7,000 views. James, you get 7,000 viewers all the time. I mean, you have millions of viewers that listen to you. So I thought about it. I said, you know what, if you did that show out of your car and just go on live and tell your people to tune in, I see some amazing things that can happen just from doing that. And she shows up. She was up at 5:00 in the morning with a case on the west side of Chicago over in your area with those abandoned buildings with the X's on them. And at 5:41 in the morning, she had almost over 300 live viewers that tuned in to see what she was talking about. By the time that show ended that evening, I looked and it had over 7,000 viewers. So with that being said, James Hustle, what's going on in your world? Share a story, share something. Let your cat out.
I don't really have anything to share today.
Nothing?
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm over here playing blackjack. I'm not gonna lie.
Are you at the casino?
I'm playing blackjack.
Is that why you being so nice to me today?
No, it's not that. It's not that.
Right.
I thought you said Earl don't tell you what to do. He ain't your daddy.
Well, I don't know. We didn't take the DNA test, but we don't quite have that same nose.
You don't have the same nose, right?
But yeah, I met Anita a couple of times. She works for Fox News. She does a segment on the news, and of course, I guess she does the live from her Facebook for her own personal preference.
Well, I'm gonna throw this out there for free because I threw the ball in your court, and I just wanted you to catch it. Anita, we're ready to let the cat out the bag, and we got a few cats that's going to show up at your locations. I'm going to be talking with you today because I am a fan of Anita. Every time she come on live, it pops on my phone. And Anita, we are going to hook up with you and we're going to let the cat out the bag. First of all, for those who don't know you, they should know you. And then secondly, we want to hang with you, girl. We got some cats and some things that we want to talk about, and you're going to be perfect. And James Hustle, I see you being perfect with doing that with her as well.
The only time you will really get to hang with Anita is if you are at the bike shows. Yes, her and her husband, yeah, big with bikes.
Motorcycles?
Yes.
Okay, well, now I'm not going to get on the donut cycle. I'm not doing the donut cycle, Anita. Okay. So with that being said, this is what we're going to do. I had an amazing week and get better and better. I can't even make this stuff up. And better, yeah. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about the guest that we have coming on the show. We have Mayor Roger Clare. And Mayor Roger Clare is from Bolingbrook, Illinois. Now, let me tell you something. When I've read several bios, and bios usually don't impress me a whole lot because you see a little bit of this, you see a little bit of that. But when I read this this mayor's bio, I was moved beyond compassion. Now, it's so much that I don't want to take you all the way down. But when you talk about Mayor Roger Clare, we're talking about being the mayor of Bolingbrook for 30 years. 30 years. The only mayor that has ever served consecutive terms. Can you imagine that? And then on top of that, when he became mayor, when he started off, the population was like 35,000 people. So you can imagine that was, little bitty old Bolingbrook, right? Well, from 35,000, we're now at 75,000 people. Can you imagine what kind of mayor? You manage 75,000 people? You the mayor? You're talking about leadership. You're growing. And then you must be doing something right to keep doing it year after year after year, and then the next year. On top of that, we're talking about he serves on plenty of boards. He's a member of the Will County Center for Community Concerns. Now, in the Will County building, this is the place that, and I've seen them help a lot of families, okay? A lot of families. You can go there if you need assistance in your light bill, water bill, gas bill. You may need some rental assistance. You may need to some help with it may be something going on in your house, domestic violence, or it's so much that this Will County Center do. I can't even go over it all. I'm gonna definitely let Mayor Claire talk about that. He was like the past president for Will County Governmental League. He sits on the chair for the Will County Governmental League for Transportation Committee. I don't know what that is, but I know that when you're sitting on the board and when you're a chairperson, he's the past president for the Illinois Municipal League. He's a former board member of the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning, the CMAP. He's a member of the Illinois State Republican Committee. He's an honorary life member of the Bolingbrook Chamber of Commerce. He's a board member for PACE. Well, that's a PACE. Well, we know what PACE is because we all done had to caught that bus one time or another. And I can go on and on. But if I keep going on and rambling, that's not going to do service. But as you can see, we got somebody in the building that we could really respect. So what I want to encourage, I got text messages that have already came in from yesterday. I'm going to read your questions. I got a few people that want to call with their questions. We're going to do that. But we're going to go ahead and take a quick music break. But when we come back, I don't want you to touch that dial. We got Mr. Mayor Roger Clare all the way from Bolingbrook, Illinois in the building. We'll be back. And when we do, we coming to let the cat out the bag.
I've been lost, I've been tired, but I feel with desire. Somehow I know that it's all gonna change. Everything's gonna change. Big city lights, big city dreams, the sounds of the city that waits me. So many people living with the blues, so many things that I can tell you. I got this funny feeling, that something's going down. I can almost hear the sound going boom, 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 going round. No matter what I do, no matter what I say, seems like no one is happy. People living without a voice. Seems like no one really has a choice. I feel free and lost at the same time. Feels like I'm gonna lose my mind. Living every day like it's my last. Living in the truth I learned from the past. I've been tired, but I feel with desire. Somehow I know.
We're back. It's the Cats on Intellectual Radio, on iHeart Radio, and we here, ready to let the cat out the bag. Woo! Okay, so you know what, Mayor Roger Clare, we got a tradition here, and you're gonna have to say meow, roar, or something, but you gotta let that cat out.
Meow.
Meow. Okay, we'll take that. Mayor Clare, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Who are you? Where did you come from? And how did you get here?
Well, to give you the highlights, it's kind of a long story. I grew up in a town called Effingham, Illinois, about 200 miles south here. south of Champaign, about 70 miles, that part of central Illinois. And went to school there and went to school at Eastern because I was afraid I wouldn't. I didn't think I could get through college, so I went to Eastern. It's only 40 miles away. I figured I'd get hitchhike home if things got real worse. In fact, I did hitchhike home several times. But anyway, I went to school there, and then I started teaching in Decatur, Illinois. And then I was asked to go back and teach at Eastern Illinois University. Taught there for 2 years, and they told me in order to teach here at the university, you need to get a PhD. So I went to Kansas State, got a PhD. At that point, decided I didn't really want to go back and teach at the university because I knew they'd ask me to teach things that I'd never done. So I wanted to be a school administrator before I went back to teach school administration. They thought that was kind of stupid, but it made sense to me. So I moved to Zion, Illinois, where I worked in the school district in Zion for a couple of years. And I was asked to come down to the Valley View School District, which is Romanville and Bolingbrook. And then I ran a vocational school. About 14 years after that, I became a village trustee. Then I became mayor. I went on the police and fire board. Then I became mayor. And that's kind of the rest of the story.
Wow. So you're actually Dr. Mayor Roger Clare.
A friend of mine calls me Dr. Mayor Director. I was a director on the toy board for a while too. But yeah, but I don't use that. It's not on my card because it's not, maybe it's relevant, but it's not something you need to be a mayor. You just need to be a resident and care about people.
Wow. And you know what? And I always share this story because I remember when I first ran into you personally, it was at Vic's Car Wash. And Mary, you had no idea who I was. You didn't know me from a can of paint. But I came to you because I had a concern about something that was going on in the community. And when I tell you the way that you handled me, you handled me with so much care and concern, and you were so humble. You told me, hey, give me an email, shoot me a call, I'll get on top of it. And within a few days, literally, it was already in place and you were already on top of it. And everything that I had on my list of a concern, you addressed every single thing. And I'm talking about he had no idea who I was. So it's not like I was in some type of clique or some type of, I was just a resident. And that has moved me beyond compassion to say that you are really a straightforward, caring mayor. Can you give us some of the different programs, just different things that's going on in Bolingbrook that you're responsible for? I'm probably responsible for most of them, but just some of the things that you can stick a pin in.
But just to comment about what you said a moment ago, I tell people who want to go into politics, public service, that if you the whole secret to success is constituent service and accessibility. And if you're not accessible and you don't perform constituent service, what good are you? So I try to deal with, I didn't know you were a radio personality when we talked, so I would have done it even faster had I known that. But anyway, constituent service is what we're all about. So I see my job is to help people and facilitate things. If somebody comes to me and wants to start a program, I will see what I can pull together between the park district, the library, the township, or any other agency to make it work. You mentioned the Will County Center for Community Concerns. It's 30 years old too. I was on the founding board member of that agency, and that group is to serve people, as you pointed out, that have, so they've had some hard times. They need help with their rent, or they need something renovated in their house they can't afford to do, or need, utility bills and so forth to get through the winter. So I've been on that board for 30 years, and but locally we've got some programs, and I tend to focus primarily on teen programs, and I'm talking about generally the 6th grade to maybe sophomore year in high school, a little beyond. But we see it. I don't know if others feel that way, but we see the problems with kids today start in 5th, 6th grade, and it no longer starts when they get to be a freshman. So you got to back it up and try to reach those kids. So we're very big on raising money to help those when we can, and not substantial amounts, but we try to spread around because the people that want money, there's a revolving door at the office of people that want assistance with sports programs, youth programs, travel, this, whatever. But we do what we can. And like I said, the youth programs that got started, there's a woman named Joanne Robinson, the Heart Program. She takes care of kids that have some issues and so forth. And in fact, I was with her on Monday. She said that a lot of these kids, she makes them wear white shirts and ties to program. And of course, a lot of them didn't have a white shirt, and she's always asking for white shirts. So I said, meet me at Marshall's at 2:30. We did. I bought her 20 white shirts to
Wow.
the kids. And then I gave her a bunch of my old ties. And I said, they may not like these ties. They're maybe not too cool for kids. And she said, that's fine. They just need to wear a tie. So I gave her a couple hundred ties. So that was just a personal thing. It was kind of funny standing in the parking lot of Marshall's putting ties in her trunk and loading up white shirts. But she's got a program that's very neat. It's got a strong support of the judges in Will County. My daughter, has been, she started a program called H2O,
Yes,
which is Heart
yes.
Haven Outreach, 2 H's and an O.
Yes.
And she deals with kids, and people say, well, what kids? I said, well, I don't know. I said, you'll know them when you see them. You go into the school and you see a kid just kind of drifting by themselves, who appear to don't have any friends, just kind of stand around.
Yes.
Don't get any attention, and you pull them aside and say, hey, why don't you come over to this program? And you find out they've got a broken home, or parents that work all the time, or that they don't have any friends for whatever reasons, or most of them don't have any self-confidence. They don't feel good about themselves. They don't think their dress is cool enough, or, whatever. And they bring them in and they do activities. They've gone out of state on trips, probably the first time some of these kids have been out of state. They teach them the way to do things. They get involved. They meet the friends within the school. And I've had countless parents come up to me and said, your daughter's program has just saved our kid, so forth, so on and so forth, which is refreshing to me. We let them use the community center, as we let Joanne use the community center. It was a church that used to be behind Village Hall, went up for sale because the church was moving. I asked the pastor to get me the right of first refusal because it kind of caught me by surprise, but he did, and we bought the church and we renovated it. And there's 3 sections, A, B, and C. And section C is dedicated exclusively for youth activities. Nobody else can use it.
Wow.
So that's where these programs have a special place to go. So,
and I have to jump in with H2O, because H2O attracted my daughter, Patrice Winters, and she's very well known through the H2O family. And my daughter went through high school, grammar school, straight A student. She's a very, how do I say this? She has her own personality. Real nice girl. But she also had this attitude problem because, the way Patrice wanted was the way that it had to be done. So she had a gap in communicating with adults, if that makes sense to you.
Oh.
Yeah, right. So going through the H2O program, I watched it literally change the way that she interact with adults. It was so many programs that went on, and I used H2O as a reward for her. Okay, well, make sure you got all A. Mom, I want to go to H2O. What your homework is done? Mom, the H2O has a field trip. I want to go on that field trip. Okay, well, how are you acting with adults? Are you getting along? So she did everything she needed to do in order to be a part of that, to stay a part of that program. She was also a part of RIGHT, which is Really Intelligent Girls Hang Together, through the Bolingbrook school system. It's so many programs. She's a poet and an actor. So she's away at college right now, still doing very well. And it's because of a lot of the programs in the school system that's in Bolingbrook. You have no excuse. It's somewhere to plug your child in, and you got people that care, that help them. So I'm glad to know that that's something that stems from you.
Everything comes back to the young people and where they're going to go. What we've set up and done is operating generally fine, but it's the next generation. And I meet annually with all the pastors in town, all the church pastors, and we talk about different issues, what's happening here, kind of like what we made to do today. And I always say at the end, well, what can we do for you? I said, well, we got problems with kids out there. And I said, you guys have a tendency, guys and girls, you guys and girls have a tendency to deal with who's in front of you on Sunday morning. They're not the problem. It's the problem that aren't there on Sunday morning. So you need to help me go out there and find some of these kids that are drifting aimlessly with no direction or don't have any support, parental support, and bring them in. That's how I need help. And that's really what it comes down to. I often said if every boy or girl in Bolingbrook was involved in Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, campfire, some sports program, or church, we'd be a lot better off.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Mayor Claire, we know that it's getting close to like the election season. It's here again. And if it was somebody out there that just didn't know, the reason that we need Mayor Roger Clare to continue to be the mayor of Bolingbrook, continue to pour out the good that you've poured out, what would you say to them? If they were sitting on the fence, didn't know, you know,
Oh, you mean about supporting me?
supporting you.
Well, that's a decent question, but after 30 years, they either like me or they don't. I
Just that
mean,
simple, right?
I'm not going to talk to somebody that doesn't like me to
Somebody
support me.
likes you.
I've
Right.
had a group of people tell me, I don't really like you, but as long as you do the job, I'll support you.
Mhm.
And I appreciate that because too many decisions in politics are made on the way a person looks or how they comb their hair. It's amazing how people
Exactly.
vote,
That's right.
or if it's a cute name. And it's like, because most people really don't take the time to study who the candidates are and find out what makes them tick. And the people that are running typically don't put that out there much either. I have people tell me, I read a flyer about Joe Smith. He sounded like a nice guy. I said, he wrote the flyer.
Right.
Why wouldn't he sound like a nice guy? So, I mean, I kind of, at this point in my career, it's like poker, cards read. And, I've done what I've done for 30 years, and there might be some new people that want to talk to me, and that's fine. But, I said, look at the record. What's happening, Money Magazine every couple of years selects the list of the best places to live in America. And we have been selected 6 years, 3 different times, 2 years at a time. So we've been selected 6 years, and now going into the 7th and 8th year of being one of the top 100 communities to live in the United States. And we've gone from 42 to 39, but it goes up and down a little bit. But that's quite an honor, and we don't apply for that. They find you. They go out and research communities. Because first time they call, I just wondered, what do these people want to know for? I thought maybe they're doing an analysis of our debt service or credit rating, but they wanted to know because they named us on that list. And of course, we were thrilled. There's only 2 communities in the state of Illinois that had that ranking over the last 8 years continuous, is Naperville and Bolingbrook.
Yes.
And we're very proud of that. One of the main reasons we get it, by the way, is our diversity, because we're considered one of the most diverse communities in the United States. And we're very proud of that. In fact, that's what we emphasize. I mean, for example, we have a strong Pakistani Asian community in Bolingbrook, and they wanted cricket. So I helped to find a cricket field. Now they got a second cricket field, and most recently they got the Park District agreed to put up a lighted cricket field so they can play in the evening. So somebody comes along and wants something, that's our job, facilitator again, back to what I said earlier, to get them what they want, if it makes sense and if it involves kids.
Wow. I'm truly honored. Even Juneteenth, I was talking to Cooper. Yes. And this will be the second annual event for Juneteenth that's coming up. And I'm going to I missed the meeting yesterday, but I'm going to serve on that board with Cooper and the rest of that group for the Juneteenth event. Do you know anything about that event or?
Well, I've known what he's gone over with it, but as far as putting it to memory, I don't. I know it's in June, and I know it's June.
Right,
it's June 18th.
Wow.
It goes from noon until I think 10 o'clock.
Okay.
The week before, we have Filipino Day, where that'll be packed with Filipinos. They have a celebration. The next month, we have Pakistani Day. The hill will be packed there. We also have a Day of the Immigrant Day, which will be predominantly Hispanics there. And they bring in food booths. You can go there and share what their food is, what their entertainment is. And if anybody wants to have a day, they'll have it. You've seen a theater. It's probably the classiest theater, with maybe the exception of Ravinia, outside of the city of Chicago.
Yes.
It'll seat some 3,500 people. It's on a hill. A little less expensive to put up a hill and sit on the grass as opposed to filling it with chairs and seats. And we have free concerts there every Wednesday night, free. And we have more concerts on the weekends, and we have the Jubilee, and we let all these groups use it on Saturday. It's quite heavily used. Come to the corporate community, come in and use it for business corporate picnics. The Cub Scouts or the Boy Scouts camp there for a weekend. The Girl Scouts camp there for a weekend. It's highly utilized, and that's what we build it for. And every once in a while, one of the staff members will say, well, they might damage this. I said, it's not ours, it's theirs. If it breaks, we'll fix it. If it's an accident, fine. If it's malicious, we'll deal with that. But it's a wide open theater, and anybody uses it. And of course, everything's televised, so our Community Access League, where people, volunteers come in and do TV, and they use it for their own TV stuff too. Leroy Brown's got a show called, Trustee Brown's got a show called Bridging the Gap, where he goes after certain issues, kind of like yours, only on the cable TV. So I think we pretty much have it all. I mean, I frankly have, sometimes I'm running again next spring probably, and I think, what am I going to do? Because we're about built out. We have a hospital, which we worked very hard to get. We got a beautiful world-class library. I don't know if a library is better than that.
Nowhere.
I mean, it's enormous, and it's huge, and it's got everything. We got an award-winning township government, which helps people out too. We got the award-winning park district with the aquatic center and the health clubs and so forth. We got the mall, the Promenade Mall. We got new restaurants coming in. Of course, we got over 100 places to eat now. Some of our drive-throughs, but we have a lot of places to eat.
It's almost like the best place, one of the best places in the world to look for a job. Now, I know it has something to do with Bolingbrook. If you're looking for a place to work, Bolingbrook is ranked there for so many jobs and being like one of the top places to live as far or work. It's something to do with finding jobs, and I don't know the correct way to say it.
Well, that was one of the things that was my message that helped get me elected. Was when I came into office, there was 115,000 square feet of what you call industrial or manufacturing buildings. 115,000 square. No, I'm not a visual person, so it's hard for me to say what that looks like, but it's not very big.
Right.
Today we have 34 million square feet of those same buildings. So it's thousands of jobs. I will admit some of them are temp jobs, but there's a lot of them aren't temp jobs. The reality of our society today that certain businesses need people at certain times of the year, so it doesn't make sense to hire them for 12 months when their peak period is Christmas or their peak period is the spring for school. Who knows? But thousands of jobs, and it's really pretty impressive. It's one of the largest industrial parks, business parks in the country. And it's separated from schools, parks, library. It's all down there in one section by itself. And we're very proud of that. So it is a place to find work.
It's a place to find work. So listen here, you guys. And once again, if you've not had a chance to visit Bolingbrook for yourself, treat yourself and really see an amazing job. As soon as you get off of the expressway, well, for me, the beginning of Bolingbrook is right there at 53. But for some, when you get off at 355 right there at Boughton, get off, go and look at the Promenade Mall. It's so much happening there. If you've not had an opportunity to visit the theater on the hill, I literally live right across the street from the theater. And it is one of the most rewarding free theaters where you have hundreds and hundreds of people, depending on what show it is, that will come out and they will pack that hill. And that theater is like state of the art. And you could see amazing shows. And, I see old people, I see young people, I see everybody out there on that hill. We talked about the free carnivals and events that go on, the Jubilee. You see singers and the Bolingbrook Jubilee Festival. You see some of the most amazing singers and pastors from across the globe that come right to Bolingbrook.
Joy Fest.
The Joy Fest. That's what it is. Okay, go ahead.
Well, and it's like we have the golf course. Some people don't play golf, wonder why we have a golf course. It's got a beautiful clubhouse. It'll seat 800 people for dinner. But we have our fireworks display there every 4th of July. And it's become known as one of the premier fireworks displays in Northern Illinois. It's like 35 minutes long. It's choreographed to patriotic music. At the end, this is my thing, and this is what I told the guy to do. The end, when it's ending, it's like the whole place is blowing up. I mean, just boom, 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 and just smoke in the air. People love it. 15,000 people will show up for that.
Yes.
And it's, but again, and it's just, we try to have as many attractions as we can on a monthly basis. And the clubhouse, by the way, last year I believe had 137 weddings and 52 weekends. So that's how much activity they have for weddings. It's considered by college girls, I'm told, at different universities as the place to get married. Now you can be on lots of lists, but once you're on the list of college girls that have the place to have your wedding, that's when you've arrived.
That's when you arrive. Well, I tell you what, and I'm still smiling. And the reason I'm smiling is about the present. But I'm also smiling because when you sit with someone and you get an opportunity to see the your vision. Because when I talk with you, Mayor Roger Clare, and I went through your bio, I'm like, oh my God, I see so many visions that I currently have that I can run straight through the village of Bolingbrook. So with that being said, I'm gonna give you another. If it's anything you want to say in closing, um, can you speak on something concerning to whom much is given, much is required? To whom much is given, much is required. If you could say something to our listeners today, what would you say?
Well, I encourage people, particularly young people, and frankly, a lot of adults. I read the papers like anybody else around the world, around the country, and certainly around Chicago, of all the problems we're dealing with. People need to step up and get involved and participate. They don't in large numbers. They don't, probably 95% of people don't do anything. All they do is react to a problem. Well, if they could help us up front, we might not have the problem. And literally to the point when we don't do it because it wouldn't be politically smart, but somebody comes up, what about our tax bill? I said, did you vote? No, then I don't care what you think. Now, that's a sarcastic attitude, but it's true. If you don't bother to even vote, why, you don't care. Local taxes in particular are set locally. You drive across town, the village hall, that's when you set them up and you go forth with them. And we have public hearings on that stuff and nobody shows up. People need to participate. They need to study candidates. Don't get caught up in some glitzy flyer that lands in your mailbox or some 30-second ad on TV or even some endorsements. Look at who's endorsing and analyze the motive for that endorsement. And it's clear. The reality is in politics, follow the money. If there's one industry is weighing in heavily, then maybe there's a message here that we're not hearing. So I'd like to see people step forward and get involved. That's what we've tried to do. We're 50 years old last fall, community. Nobody was there. Well, a handful of farmers, I suspect, but I've been mayor 30 years. I was a police or fire commissioner for 2 years. That's 32. And then I was a village trustee for 5.5. So that's 37.5 years out of the 50 years.
Wow.
So I've seen a lot of stuff come and go. And I think I've learned what's successful. And one of the things that's successful is people stepping forward. You're not always going to like what you hear, but at least you'll have some input into it. And I've never seen, we don't shut people off. No. We don't care about that. Get out of here. We don't do that. I see that happen in other communities and I'm stunned when people are treated that way. If you come to one of our village board meetings and there's an item on the agenda, in the middle of the agenda, if you raise your hand, I'll ask you what your question is. If I think it's an honest question. If it's during the campaign season and you're just another candidate trying to be malicious, I won't let you do that because I'm not going to turn into a public debate over your political candidacy. But if you come to me and got a question, people take the time to come to a meeting. Typically, that means they've got a concern and an issue and treat it accordingly. Maybe the most important thing to them in their life right then. So let them speak. Why shut them off? But it's getting people involved. That's the secret. I mean, really, look at all the problems we have in suburban Chicago, and look how many people are actually involved trying to help it, as opposed to complaining about it.
I think they have the wrong mayor. That's what I think. That's a whole other story. But we're not going to take you from Bolingbrook and send you to Chicago. That's a bigger headache, right? But
I think you should go.
You think he should go to Chicago, right?
The man for less than an hour, he's better than a man.
Well, I watch what goes on, and I'm surprised at some of the things that happen. And I see different candidates for different things: governor, yes, president, even Congress, state house. It's I don't know. You wonder sometimes, did you think about that before you said it?
Wow.
Or did it?
Wow.
But don't get me wrong. I've had my controversy. I've had my investigations. I've had my critics. People don't like success, and that's true. And I'm not suggesting this because I'm successful. I've been criticized, but there's the people are always shooting for the guy on top. So, it is. I don't say it's about us lonely at the top. It is lonely at the top. There's lots of decisions you got to make that you walk to your department heads. That's your call, Mayor. You talk to your village board. What do you think? Would you do this or this? Hey, it's your call. It's what you get the big bucks for. Hey, I'd really like to hear some. I'd like to hear some ideas because this is a tough decision. Raising taxes is a very tough decision. We pay the same taxes. I don't like taxing more than anything else, but I have people call me up in the wintertime. How come we don't shovel all the sidewalks in Bolingbrook? Seriously? You know what that would cost? We had to cut down 9,000 trees last year because of the emerald ash borer infected the trees and killed them. 9,000. Cost a couple $1 million. Now people want all those trees replaced. That's an enormous cost. And they're actually calling in, well, I'd like a peach tree. Really? You know, I mean, we could go down door to door. What kind of tree would you like? So you do the best you can. Snow plowing. There's not a car made today that can't drive through 2 or 3 inches of snow. But oh no, the street's got to be dry the next morning and the phone calls start. Just slow down a little bit. It's going to melt in a day or two, especially in the fall and the spring. So it's a struggle that people ask me why we don't lower taxes. I said, I won't. I said, why? Because you won't let me.
Won't let me.
Want to come back on police? Oh no, we probably need more. How about fire department? Oh no, ambulance? No, need that. Public streets clean to get to work and street lights on. That's it. What do you mean that's it? Get rid of the administrators. It's fat. I said, okay, we'll get rid of all the department heads. But my question to you is, who's going to run the department for the next couple of years? We run a pretty lean machine. My office has got 3 people in it. Well, three in a town of 75,000. You go to most towns, you'll probably find 7, 8, 10 people in there.
Yep.
So it's lean. Well, it's your people. You have to ask for their opinion too. But anyway, I enjoy it. I wouldn't have done it this long if I didn't. I never intended to run for mayor this many years. People ask me why I don't go up, and I tell people, you know, if you really want to help people, if you honestly want to help people, you can do more as a local mayor than the president or the governor. You could be Barack's best friend, but most of the things that occur to you in your day-to-day life are local government. So if your basement flooded, or your water was shut off, or the fire department didn't respond in time, you could call Barack. And guess who Barack would call? Well, he wouldn't call. Somebody that called me. You could be Bruce Rauner's best friend as governor of Illinois. Call out and complain. They would call me. So you can make things happen as a local mayor like that. And that's why I like it. So that's one of the reasons I didn't move up. I like it better doing the response. You ask a congressman something, hell, you'll never get an answer. And if they do something, it'll be 2 years later, but it'll be so convoluted and amended, it won't be what you wanted, and the problem you had has been solved by then anyway.
Wow.
So I like the action of local government. I like running people car wash.
Yeah.
Well, I make myself available. Of course, people know me because I've been around so long, but I give you my card with my phone number on it, my email address on there. You have a problem. I don't want you to wander around for 2 or 3 months mad about it, because you just get madder and madder and madder. So the sooner it gets resolved, the happier everybody is.
Yes. And I want to send a special shout out to Vic Car Wash, because those are proud sponsors of the Cats Out show. So we do appreciate you, and you always a great guy over there at Vic's Car Wash. Great guy. I can't think of his first name right now, but he's very humble. Another guy you can reach out to with complaints, and he's really good there. His first name's Vic. That makes sense, right? That's why it's Vic's Car Wash. So I tell you what, with that being said, we're going to take a quick commercial break. But once again, you just seen it. You just seen it with your own 2 eyes, and you heard it. It's the Cats on Intellectual Radio. And we just let that cat out the bag with Mr. Roger Clare. Once again, it's the Cat Show. Meow.
I've been lost, I've been tired, but I feel with desire. Somehow I know that it's all gonna change. Everything's gonna change. Big city lights, big city dreams, it's the sound of the city that wakes me. So many people living with the blues, so many things that I can tell you. I got this funny feeling, that something's going down. I can almost hear the sound going boom, 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 going round. No matter what I do, no matter what I say, seems like no one is happy. People living without a voice, seems like no one really has a choice. I feel free and lost at the same time. Feels like I'm gonna lose my mind. Living every day like it's my last. Living in the truth I learned from my past. I've been tired, but I feel yeah. Somehow I know that it's all I know, that it's all I know. I've been lost, I've been tired, but I feel with desire. Somehow I know that it's all gonna change. Everything's gonna change. Big city lights, big city dreams, the sound of the city that wakes me. So many people living with the blues. So many things that I can take. This funny feeling, got this funny feeling. There's something's going down. I can almost.
We're back. We're back. It's the Cats on IntellectualRadio.com. And we're here right now with a couple of amazing people. I'm just going to say personal name. I forget his first name. Pastor
Anthony Spencer.
Pastor is in the building. Much is given, much required. I want you to hammer that topic, and then before you even say a word, I want you to give us a meow, a roar, or something. But let your cat out.
Roar.
All right. Go ahead, Pastor Spencer. Tell us who you are, where you come from, how you get here.
Again, I'm Anthony Spencer. I pastor Christ-Centered Ministries in Chicago, 1533 South Drake Avenue in the great Lawndale community. I've been pastoring there for 17 years. Brought up in K-Town. So I'm West Side born and bred, and have a heart for the community. And so much of what we do is centered around that outreach and really touching the community and trying to be a help and assistance to people. And of course, to let them know who they are and that they can make it.
Well, you know what? And I see it for a second. I was like, wow. Okay, he don't look like a pastor. He all, you know what? But he opened his mouth and I was like, all right, Pastor, now I hear you. Go ahead. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Yes. So tell me this, Pastor. Mm-hmm. We're talking right now about to whom much is given, much is required. Mm-hmm. Now, it's no telling how many people will see this. And I tell people, if it's 1 or 1,000,001 that see it, talk to them the same. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. So to whom much is given, much is required. What would you say about that?
Well, first off, the scripture is powerful in that, and oftentimes people become afraid of it because, again, when it says to whom much is given, much is required, it's like, okay, I've got to give so much, or I've got to do so much. But the scripture is really explaining to whom much is given, much is required. So the much that's required is in the much that's given. And so accessing what I've already been given by God and then being responsible with it and doing to help others to come up and be who to be. If I'm not doing that, then I've been given and I'm not a good steward over it.
And it just hit the most has already equipped you.
Yeah, that's right.
So you mean to tell me I done gave you everything you already need and you're not going to do nothing with it?
Absolutely.
So that's why and I'm saying this to kind of hammer on to somebody that may be listening today. You on the edge trying to make a decision. I should sing. Mm-hmm. God done blessed me with this amazing voice, but you done had that voice since you've been 12. Now you're almost 52 and you still ain't singing yet. Something wrong with that picture. And today is your day. Just say it. Yeah, wait a minute. And today is your day to do something with that.
That's right.
it may be somebody that want to start a business or what have you. So you something when you said that just hit my spirit that now is the time. Okay. Now go ahead. Keep on talking to us, Pastor. Come on now.
Again, just like what you're stating, there's so many things that connect to that. Like you said, businesses that need to be open. There are authors, people who have books in them that have yet to write them, I being one of them. And so understanding that all that has been placed in us is not even for us. It's for someone else. And so somebody's deliverance could be held up because we're refusing to release that greatness that's on the inside of us. What we have been given is for somebody else, and we've got to release it in order to release somebody else.
Yes. One of the things I say, and we want Patricia to sing, but one of the things I always say every morning when I get up is, Lord, you know what? I have my own plans for today, but I know that my plans don't mean nothing. And what I need you to do, and I need you to do this for me, Lord, is order my steps. Wherever I plan something that's not in agreement with what you have for me, Lord, go ahead and cancel and erase the plans, because I don't want to overstep my bounds. And then I realized how you work, Lord. God would only send blessings to those he can send blessings through. And if he can't send blessings through you, he has no need to send them to you. So I'm always open and saying, Lord, let me open my hands. Let me open my heart. Let me open up so that you can let blessings just flow through me. So when I'm in your presence, something about me that's gonna bless you. And that's just right. That just make me feel good. Like, well, did I bless you today? Well, good. So why you always smiling? Because I'm always blessing people, and God is always blessing me. And even when things don't always go right, because we all got something going on. Lord have mercy. But guess what? Even when it don't always go right, Lord is still blessing me through my situation. He's blessing you. Pat, go ahead on the sing right now. Go ahead, girl.
I got so many songs that's coming up in my head, but I'm gonna get this. God want me to do this.
Give us a little bit.
Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of God divine. Heirs of salvation, purchase of God, born of his spirit, I'm washed in his blood.
Yes.
This is my story.
It's my story.
This is my song.
What?
I'm praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story.
This is my story.
This is my song. I'm praising my Savior all the day long.
All the day long. With that being said, we know we have an event that's coming up on May 22nd. Now, Pastor, do you have the information about that event with Brother Sherrod Gilbert and his group?
Yes, ma'am.
Share that information with us.
Well, this is going to be an incredible concert. And one of the things I like about it, I'm a quartet guy, traditional gospel music, love it, born and bred in it. And I appreciate Brother Sherrod being as young as he is, really having a desire to sustain quartet music here in Chicago. So we've got Sunday, May 22nd at 4 p.m. at the Greater Holy Temple Ministries. We have an incredible concert we're calling the Chicago Quartet Bash #2. And we've got, coming from Alabama, we've got Blessed by Four, an incredible singing group. We've got Pastor Sean Jones and the Believers, also from Alabama. We've got Roy and Leroy and Revelation from South Carolina. We've got Chicago's own, the Victory Travelers. Minister Tim White is an incredible singer. Pastor Roy Ewing, he's going to be there, and just going to be an array of great gospel singers. The tickets are only $20. It's going to be an incredible event, and you do not want to miss it. And so I'm encouraging all of the listeners to get your tickets as soon as possible, because this is going to be an incredible.
Right now.
That's what I'm talking about.
We selling tickets on air.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right. Okay. So, and with that being said, let me just say this, because you said when you got a young Sherrod Gilbert that's standing behind this event, and this is young man Sherrod. We can hear you. Go ahead and speak. Sherrod, young man, tell us how old you are. We don't care. Tell us how you got started.
I'm 33.
33 years old, and this is the second bash of this type that you're putting together. right here in the Chicago area.
Yes.
Okay, let me just say this right here, because we're talking about supporting our, well, he ain't that young, but he a young man, especially compared to, well, not compared to me, because I'm just 25, but you understand where I'm at, right? Okay, so listen at this. If you don't do nothing else, and buy a ticket and give it to somebody.
Yeah.
If you don't got a whole $20, maybe you just got $5 on it. Put that $5 on the ticket. But see, here's the thing about it. We don't support each other enough.
That's right.
And if I can't buy a whole ticket, then at least let me say, you know what, brother? I can't even buy a ticket, but I got $2. Let me just sow a seed into what it is that you're doing. Let me sow a seed into your vision, because I sow into you, I guarantee you it's going to come back up.
Yes,
It's going to come back up and it's going to come out, because I'm not sowing for you per se, because that's what's required of me. You understand where I'm at with that? So this is what we're going to do again. I'm going to give you guys a good 5 minutes. And you said you sang. So do you sing, Pastor?
He retired.
Right. Good answer.
Now don't make me sing, because if I got to sing by myself and I can't even sing, but I'm gonna open my mouth now. But
I tell you this: if you come on the 22nd, I'm gonna sing.
You gonna sing?
He gonna sing. I'll be there.
Matter of fact, we're gonna broadcast.
I got mine. See,
we gonna come there and we're gonna broadcast live on the 20th. We're gonna be in the building. We can do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So look,
We're gonna let the cat out the bag on the 22nd.
cat out the bag. James, can you close with a song? These people want to hear somebody say. You've been singing a long
I've been
time.
waiting for Gilbert to sing since last week.
Can I say something?
Wow.
The reason I brought him, Pastor Spencer, because growing up as a young man in Chicago, I look up to him singing quartet. That's why I brought him here.
Wow.
By watching him sing and minister, sing Front Streets of Chicago.
Wow.
Along with him and my dad, I admire him a lot. His past story. That's why I brought him with me there. Everything I custodian, I always consult him first. That's why I
Wow.
brought him here.
So we got a man of God. We got a man in the community, a man of the community, and on top of that, he's a pastor. So when we're talking about much is given, much is required. You are already living that. And say your church again.
Christ-centered Ministries, 1533 South Drake Avenue.
Well, what are your service
times are Sunday at 9 a.m., Wednesday nights at 7 p.m.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna show up. We're going to let the cat out the bag at one of his services. We're going to get his information. We're going to post it on our social media page, because we know that our pastors need support. See, everybody want to pull on the pastor, and everything is always the pastor's fault. The pastor. But we need folks to stand behind the pastor and push the pastor and help him. I don't care what church you go to.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. We got too many churches and not enough pastors coming together in order to make a change in the community.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So what we're going to do is we're going to support your ministry. Thank you for sharing that information. Thank you for being a mentor and a leader. And I don't care what nobody say. Somebody start singing now, saying something. Close us out.
Amazing grace.
How sweet.
How sweet the sound.
Come on, y'all. Come on. Don't leave out there by yourself.
Saves the rest
Come on, Earl.
like me.
I once was lost.
I once was lost. But now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
How you like me now?
Hallelujah.
With that being said, it's a great show. Once again, we keep saying it week after week after week, and then the next week. But I guarantee you, we're going to keep getting better. And when we come, we're going to always let the cat out the bag.